Assembly will hear an address by His Highness Sheikh Ahmad Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah, Prime Minister of the State of Kuwait. I request the protocol to escort His Highness. I have great pleasure in welcoming His Highness Sheikh Ahmad Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah, Prime Minister of the State of Kuwait, and I invite him to address the Assembly.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most gracious, may the peace and blessings of Allah be on the Prophet Muhammad and his kith and kin. Your Excellency, President of the General Assembly of the United Nations. Your Excellency, Secretary General of the United Nations. Your Highnesses, Excellencies, Heads of Delegations. Ladies and gentlemen, may the peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you. It pleases me at the outset to congratulate Your Excellency personally and to congratulate your friendly country, Hungary, on your election as President of the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly. We assure you of our total support in everything that would facilitate the discharge of your tasks. On this occasion, I also would like to express our sincerest gratitude for the efforts of your predecessor, His Excellency Mr. Abdullah Shahid, on assuming the tasks of the presidency of the previous session. I'm also pleased on this occasion to pay tribute and commend the great and appreciated effort exerted by His Excellency, the Secretary General, in leading this august organization. Under sensitive and delicate circumstances in our world, his work is based on achieving the lofty vision and mission of the UN. He is working armed with the provisions of the Charter centered on the maintenance of international peace and security. Mr. President, the historic journey of the UN over the course of almost 8 decades will lead us to arrive at key facts, namely that this organization has faced changing events and many challenges and chronic crises that the world has encountered. The multiplicity and diversity of challenges and dangers facing humanity include the following: the spread of deadly epidemics, the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, the growing phenomenon of terrorism, in addition to the threats related to natural disasters, climate change, poverty, and the hike of food insecurity. All these challenges and dangers require international cooperation that would steer away from unilateral solutions. This is why this organization has had the most prominent role in addressing all emergencies and chronic risks. All these were translated in the initiative of the Secretary General entitled Our Common Agenda towards achieving the SDGs on a more comprehensive foundation that takes into account addressing a set of obstacles and develops innovative, scalable solutions to chart a clearer future. In this regard, we renew the adherence of the State of Kuwait to the international multilateral system and to the principles and purposes of the Charter of the United Nations, which ensures the realization of the lofty mission of this organization in serving the entire humanity, as well as fostering mediation and preventive diplomacy to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war and conflicts. Mr. President, the world is following with great interest the accelerating developments in the situation in Ukraine and its related complexities, whose effects and repercussions on security and stability have become tangible. Here, we affirm our principled and firm position of adhering to the principles of international law, and it is a principled position that rejects the use of force or the threat of the use of force, or even hinting to the threat of the use of force in resolving international conflicts between countries. We emphasize the importance of adhering to the principles of the Charter. In this regard, the State of Kuwait supports all UN endeavors and all other international efforts towards de-escalation and a ceasefire in order to find a peaceful solution to this crisis, because the experiences of contemporary history have proven that peace and its related mechanisms of mediation and dialogue have always been and will continue to be the optimum choice for resolving conflicts, no matter how long they last. Mr. President, the question of Palestine has a central and pivotal place in our Arab and Muslim worlds. Tensions and instability shall remain prevalent in our region unless the proud Palestinian people obtain all the legitimate rights. And Israel, the occupying power, ceases its continuous violation of international humanitarian law. Here, we stress the need to make efforts to relaunch the negotiations within a fixed time frame in order to achieve a just and comprehensive peace. According to the terms of reference of the peace process and the resolutions of international legitimacy, as well as the Arab Peace Initiative that would end the Israeli occupation and lead to the establishment of an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital along the borders prior to the 4th of June 1967. Mr. President, the absence of international unity from one side and the frequency of external intervention on the other were a major reason for the prolongation of the Syrian crisis that entered its 12th year, reflecting one of the ugliest scenes of human suffering. Here we renew our firm position that there is no military solution to this crisis. We stress the need to work towards a political settlement in accordance with relevant Security Council resolutions, especially Resolution 2254 of the year 2015, towards realizing the hopes and aspirations of the brotherly Syrian people. As for the crisis in the brotherly country of Yemen, we renew our welcome of the truce agreement between the Yemeni parties. We stress the need to implement all of its provisions. We also commend the efforts of the Special Envoy of the Secretary General for Yemen, as he works to strengthen compliance with the truce, which was brokered under the auspices of the United Nations and within the context of the peace initiative announced by the sisterly kingdom of Saudi Arabia in March 2021. Towards ending this crisis and reaching a comprehensive political solution based on the three agreed upon terms of reference, namely the initiative of the GCC and its implementation mechanism, the outcomes of the national dialogue, and the resolutions of the Security Council, particularly Resolution 2216. At the same regional level, and proceeding from basic premises related to the rules of good neighborliness contained in the Charter of the United Nations, we renew our call to the Islamic Republic of Iran to take serious trust-building measures to start a dialogue based upon the respect of the sovereignty of states and non-interference in their internal affairs, as well as to reduce tension in the Gulf region and to preserve the safety, security, and freedom of maritime navigation from any threats. Mr. President, the state of Kuwait is about to celebrate the 60th anniversary of joining the United Nations. through which we have had many experiences and very important landmarks, most notably of which was the experience of the invasion of my country and the liberation of my country. This was a success story of this organization in its strict implementation of the resolutions of international legitimacy, most important of which the relevant outcomes of the Security Council and the General Assembly. This has made us believe more in the inevitability of multilateral international action and the importance of its activation towards achieving the ambitions and aspirations in a world where security, stability, and prosperity prevail, and where the voice of the peoples is the main compass for our action. Mr. President, the state of Kuwait is celebrating its democracy in the holding of the parliamentary elections of the National Assembly based on very clear and high-level directions from the political leadership. Hence, the government has provided all means and capabilities to all senior officials at official entities so that we can meet the needs of the citizens and endeavor to resolve all obstacles within the framework of the law. This emanates from our belief that any effort for development would not pay off or have the expected results in the absence of listening to citizens. This is in line with our multilateral vision for development to create a new Kuwait in the year 2035. Mr. President, next November, our Arab region will witness a world sporting event presented by the FIFA World Cup, organized by the sister state of Qatar, which is in pace with the economic and cultural renaissance it is witnessing. This confirms its ability to host such major sporting events. We wish Qatar an exceptional success, being the first Arab and Muslim country to host such an international competition. May the peace and blessings